Together. All right, let's see. I can get to the chat here, put the link in. Together. Okay. All right, let's see. I can get to the chat here, put the link in. Let me. Okay. Mute that. All right, for those of you coming over, there is a Zoom link that you just need to click on to join the Zoom room, and that's how we're going to go live here. Because let me, all right, let me start letting people in. All right. Hello. Hi, Sarah, your iPhone.
Yes, I'm on the way home with my friend, so
Hi. That blue is a great color on you.
thank you.
I'm just letting some people in here. All right. Yeah, but it seems like people are starting to get the hang of it. Like I have a hard time even getting the hang of how to go live on YouTube with the whole Zoom link, but everyone's doing a good job. Everyone's, let me make sure I have the link. Oh, okay, the link is still there. Everyone's doing, oh, let me admit my moderator. There we go. All right. So what should we start out with? What do you want to start out with? You want to start out with spirits? You want to start out with psychic? You want to start out with cards? What do you want to do? Spirit, psychic. We have, looks like, yeah, people, you people, y'all are like me. Like I'll always go to my dead, my deaded. Yeah, I wish it would mute me over there. My moderator is in the same room with me and I'm hearing myself echoing. That's very annoying. Can't get help around here. All right. So we'll start with some spirits. Let's go. What we got going on here? Okay, this first spirit stepping up is, I'm hearing the name Mary around her. Mary is letting me know that she was, let me admit this person, she was saying Mary, Mary, quite contrary. And I was like, were you? Absolutely, she was. This lady was bossy from way back and not always in a good way. Um, she would tell you something once and then she was going to be dun, dun, dun. She is showing me that she had to be like there was so much activity in her house. There was always people coming and going, and she loved that. But she was one of these people who you knew she loved you, but she certainly wasn't the kind of grandmother who's going to be like, oh, let me love you, let me hug you. She was more of a dictator grandmother. She is teasing me, telling me that I could learn a few things from her. And she's acknowledging right before I had a little break in meetings today and yesterday, same thing, a little break in meetings. It was like an hour and a half. One of my grandkids came over. Today, one of my other grandbabies came over, and this boy had chips. My grandbaby today had chips all over the couch, and she's referencing that. Like she never would have had that. I could care less, just so we're clear. That's why I don't buy new furniture. I don't want to stress about it. But she was saying that never would have happened. Her house was very much organized. She's showing me kids coming in and there being a whole pile of shoes. She has referenced Christmas time several times. So Christmas would have been at her house. And like I said, she loved the activity, but she also liked to complain about the activity. She is also, her tree was real, a real tree. I don't know. We've never had a real tree. So that is something you would recognize on her. Everyone had, she was a religious lady because she is showing me Christmas being more about the, can y'all hear that in the background? Can y'all hear my dog crying? He's in his kennel. My door is open a little bit so he can hear me talking. So now he's like, hey, I can hear you, lady. Come get me. Oh, Elizabeth. Where are you? Okay, Elizabeth, unmute yourself. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. So,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
So did the description describe your grandmother? Was she very much, you had to do what she said? She liked having everyone over, but she was also going to complain about it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
It was my great grandmother, my dad's grandmother.
Okay, very good. Your great grandmother. And she also, there was, during the holidays, there was a lot of people, and she didn't like people having shoes on in her house. Is that so?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I stayed with her all the time.
Okay, very good. I don't know. I'm going back to, I was asking her if I got it wrong, and she is showing me, for whatever reason, it's muddy outside, and she is showing me like just having a fit. Y'all take them damn shoes off.
Yeah, that's her.
I almost didn't cuss because I thought, this is a grandmother. I mean, my grandmother hardly ever cussed like that, and she certainly wouldn't have cussed at me. Um, no, she had no problems with it. Now, Elizabeth, she is telling me, have you been looking for a job?
No, ma'am.
Have you just switched jobs? Why is she taking me to a job?
I don't know. I've been at the same job for 30 years now. My little sister just changed jobs, and her
Okay,
name is
very
also
good.
Mary.
That was, I was going to say, if it's not you, it's someone around you. Who around you has just switched jobs? So your little sister has?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. It was a good move for her, but she's also acknowledging that this job for your sister is kind of a jumping off point. This is not going to be her end all be all job. It is her jumping off part. She's
Okay.
also telling me, Elizabeth, that you are
She would tell you
crazy.
something once and then she was gonna be,
Hold on, I'm getting some echo. How to mute someone. Um, she is referencing that you're crazy intuitive yourself. You just know things. Have you recognized that in yourself?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
That's called claircognizance, clear knowing. It's connected to your crown chakra. To strengthen that, I know I'm about to say a dirty word. You need to meditate.
I
Meditate.
try. I try
I
hard.
know it's hard. I get you. It's hard. Find a way that works for you because the crown chakra, claircognizance is very powerful, but the best way to work with it is one thing, trust it, lean into it. When you know something, go with it, but also to get to know it better through meditation, whether it's a guided meditation, a walking meditation, and just do, it's called a meditation practice for a reason. It takes practice. So start
Yeah.
out with a couple of minutes and then go to 5 minutes and just keep bumping it up.
Okay.
Your grandmother is also saying that you're married.
Oh, yes, ma'am. 32 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She likes that man.
Thank you.
She's like, he's a good one.
He is. He is a good one.
Even when you want to stab him in the eye, he's a good one. You know what she is referencing is that he has a lot of integrity. He's never going to cut corners. He's always going to do what he says. And let me tell you, that man loves you. And I
My
know a
dad
lot.
coached him in T-ball when he was 5 years old.
Oh my goodness. So he's embedded in the family.
Oh, yes.
I love that. And I know a lot of people are just like, or might be saying, of course her husband loves her. Mm-mm. If y'all been on this earth long enough, y'all know that's not always so. But your husband does. And loyal. Your man is so loyal to you.
I'm gonna ask you to unmute yourself, so. Yes,
Where's
ma'am.
that coming from?
So was,
Is there a delay? Like that was very delayed. I don't know where that was coming from.
Not sure.
Okay, very good. Your great grandmother is referencing some jewelry that was passed down. Do you know who has that?
I have some of it, yes.
Okay, very good. I thought it was you, and I want to make sure she wasn't getting me to someone else. She is saying, okay, so your grandmother's like getting up into some mediumship type stuff here. And this is something I teach in one of my classes. I don't know why your grandmother has mentioned it, but hey, whatever, I'm going to tell you. Try meditating one day, holding a piece of her jewelry and seeing if you can feel her around you. It's called psychometry. Psychometry is when you have an inanimate object that holds on to people's energy that used to own it.
Okay.
She is
Okay.
saying that she's been trying to get to you and she's hoping that will draw y'all closer.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, sweetie.
All right. Well, but my dogs are on the loose. I can hear them. All right. This next gentleman stepping up, I'm hearing the name. All right. I'm going to say Jim. When he stepped up, I thought I heard Jimbo or Bimbo, but that doesn't make sense to me. So we're going to go with Jim. Jim is showing me that he liked to dress nice. He was always wanting to put his best foot forward. He's showing me he was always in a, they want to say hi, of course they do. Babies. I bet y'all cannot guess which this one is. Eating my pen in my face, as tall as I am. Gross. Okay, so we have this gentleman is like talking about these dogs. He is not. Oh my goodness, he's so funny because they will mess up your clothes real quick. These dogs will slime you. Do not come to my house in no good outfit because no, it will not be good once you leave. And he is nicely dressed. He is showing me he loved God and he loved the bars. This is sweet hair. You can tell she's a lot shorter. So this gentleman he loved God. He is showing me he had a very prominent position in your ink is cold, honey. He had a very prominent position in the church. He's also going to be at the bar. This man would have been I'm teasing him. I was about to say he was been preaching at the bar. He's like, no, they're going to be confused. He wasn't preaching at the bar. He's drinking at the bar. But he is telling me that people have a misconception of you can't. He had a problem with people in church that said, you have to be in church. You can't drink. You can't do this. You can't do that. And he's like, nobody was going to tell me how I was going to love my God. So he had his own perception of what I like this man. I like the way he's talking. No one's gonna tell me I love my God. You just preach it, man. He's also showing me that he was from the South. He feels like he was from the South. He's showing me Southern food. He's showing me greens and cornbread. He is showing me someone cooking in the kitchen on a cast iron skillet. You don't have to close them out. Yeah.
I think we're just gonna eat it first.
That's okay. Does this gentleman sound familiar to anyone? Yeah, I should probably recap because we had some distractions. Yes, so I'm hearing the same Jim around him. When he stepped up, I heard like Jimbo or Bimbo, which didn't make sense to me. So I'm going with Jim. But that was what I actually heard. He is showing me he always liked to dress nice. He always smelled nice. He also I'm seeing a chain. He's showing me very prevalently a golden chain. He liked this golden chain. He was an active in his church. He is showing me sometimes actually going to church and being a little hungover because he liked the bar too, but he's going to be at church. And he had a very definitive way. People were not going to tell him how to worship God, which I absolutely love that about him. And if people were going to call him on being at church and being hungover, he'd be like, tell me, go worry about yourself. It's from the South. He is showing me he's either from the South or they cooked Southern food in his house because he is definitely showing me greens and cornbread in the cast iron skillet. Does this gentleman sound familiar to anyone? Okay, so now I'm going to just go to the part of my screen where he's taking me. Take me to where you are. He's taking me to a little quadrant that has R. Ewing, Page H, Baby Love, and Brittany Amelia in it. So that's where he took me. Does this gentleman sound familiar to any of y'all? R. Ewing, does this person sound familiar to you? Could be my twin. Was he young? We'll get to that in just a second, Miss Page. Let me see if he fits with one of these people. Oh, page H. Yes, it could be. You are in that quadrant. I thought it was a different page over here. Yes. Unmute yourself, honey.
Hi.
Hi. So you had a twin?
Yes, a twin brother. We're from Minnesota, but he lived in Oklahoma for the past few years. He was in the Air Force there.
Okay, very good. Very good. And so would he talk about that Southern food that he end up starting to like that Southern food?
He was always the pickiest eater, and then all of a sudden he moved there and he was cooking for people. I don't particularly know if he was cooking Southern food, but he definitely took a sudden interest to cooking and food, and he was in
Hmm.
the South. I don't know.
Just so we're clear, talking to your brother here. That's not the South, dude. That is not the South. He's
To
like,
him,
it
it
can
was.
be. It can't. No, no. I'm going to argue with your dad here. That is not the South. I'm just teasing him. And he's laughing about it and he's joking in a compared to Minnesota, right, Jessica? It is. It is. And that's what he's referencing because he was so far north I was having this side conversation with him. That was the South to him.
He was, the big belt buckle, the boot cut jeans, the cowboy hats. I have his hat hung on
Yes,
my wall. He was like all of a sudden this to us crazy
yes,
Southern person.
yes. Um, so that's why he was making that reference to the South, is because she just said to them, it was a he was a crazy Southern person. I'm just teasing him. I was like, dude, you haven't seen South, so you go to my stomping ground. He is referencing page that when he left this planet, you felt like that you had left a part of your soul and went with him.
Yeah.
He is saying, so to me, there's no greater loss than losing a child.
Mhm.
But this loss affected you like that.
Yeah, I think as a twin,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you're with someone always.
And I guess when I was thinking about it, it's like, oh, but y'all weren't identical, y'all weren't even the same sex, but he was saying that y'all had that same connection, that y'all actually could communicate telepathically.
Yeah, we always joked that, I mean, we could to a certain extent, but people would ask us and we always had the same answers anyway. Guess the
Yes.
color, it was always orange, but we never really like discussed it. It just was.
Yeah, y'all just knew you just knew what the other one was thinking. It wasn't a discussion thing where y'all tried and practiced to
Yeah. We knew when something was wrong,
I'm
like
sorry, that was
just
my
like
dog.
pangs, just like weird. Yeah, it was weird. You don't normally see that with fraternal twins.
No, you don't. He's also referencing, I don't know what this is, but I was like this. He's like, that's why you can't have nice things. Because y'all see my shirt from my dog come over here and sliming me. He is saying, your brother is like that. That's why you can't have nice things. I don't know what it
Exactly.
is. Did he not like messes or the messes that dogs made? He's made several references to the messes my dogs make.
We during COVID we got a dog and definitely I wanted the dog the most and he liked her, but he always was like, "Oh, this is your dog, your mess, your problem." So that could
Yes,
be
I
it.
knew it was something about a mess and a dog. He was not having it because he's made several comments about my messy dogs. And then when they slimed my shirt, he's like, you see? Yep,
Yeah,
I'm
he was
living in
not as
my
much of a dog person. I definitely got that gene more than him.
yes. He is referencing how sorry he is. He's taking responsibility for his passing, and he is saying, I could have done it differently. I could have done it differently.
Yeah, that sounds like something he would say. He was in a car
Car
accident.
accident, yes. And that's the reason I took a long time before I told you that he was taking responsibility for it because I was like, this was an accident. This was an accident.
Hmm.
But it says something about your brother's personality that he was going to take responsibility for things that really weren't his fault.
Yeah, I think especially we lost my dad 9 years ago, and I think he always was the glue of our family. He was very mentally tough, and I think he thought he could get through anything. So
He
that
is,
would be him.
he's showing me your writing page. Do you write short stories or a journal? What is this writing he's showing me?
Yeah, I have been kind of taking to journaling a little bit more, trying to just be more mindful and more present. So I felt like I had just been we just lost him almost a year ago, and I just felt like I was not really here.
It
So
takes
I've
a
been trying to
while.
be,
Yeah.
yeah,
That first year is like a fog.
yes,
And
it
I want
is.
to warn you, and I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to anything she's doing again. Because the second year is almost worse because
Yeah.
you are out of the fog and it starts hitting you, the
Mhm.
reality of it. And so I'm telling you that because I want you to be prepared and I want you to journal those feelings and not judge yourself. A lot of
Okay.
people move into that second year and they start judging themselves like, I should be farther along. I should. No,
Mhm.
that first year you're in a fog. You're just kind of numb.
Absolutely. I know it's coming.
Just be prepared, offer yourself grace, offer yourself nurturance. And if there's a day that you don't want to get out of bed and you can, I know sometimes we don't have the options, we want to lay in bed and we can't. But if you want to take a mental health day, make sure you're giving yourself the grace to do that.
I will. Thank you.
And also, I was about to let him go, and I'm hearing that there's some people around you that do not understand the magnitude of this loss for you.
Hmm.
And he is acknowledging that, okay, they're stupid, is what he said.
That's how I would put it. So,
Oh, okay. I thought that he was going to have these beautiful words of wisdom for you. And he's like, they're just stupid.
yeah, now
Well,
he's
okay.
speaking my language.
There you go. They're just stupid, Paige. Thank you. Thank you for letting me read your brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
I want to, yes. Oh, yeah. Sarah's talking about the twin bond. She has a twin also. Um, let's see. I was just making sure I was keeping up with the comments. Yes, grief is not linear. It is absolutely not. Thank you for pointing that out, Chelsea. You wake up, you think you're like, oh my goodness, I can breathe again. Yes. And you have a great day where you feel like I can breathe. And the next day you wake up and you feel like you're back at step one. And it's kind of shocking because on that day that you feel like you can breathe, you're like, thank goodness I can, function again in life. And then all of a sudden, no. All right. Thank you, dude, for stepping up. This next person stepping up is I want to say a mom energy. If she wasn't a mom, she functioned like a mom. She is showing me, feels like she was a single mom. Either she was a single mom or she was a married single mom. She is showing me just always getting kids out the door. She's trying to get herself ready to go out the door and she's getting kids out the door. You got your backpack, like sign in papers. It's like complete chaos trying to get everyone out the door and into the car. And she is also showing me that she smoked. I'm not sure she smoked in front of the kids though, because what she's actually showing me is she's dropping the kids off at school and then she's like, that's when she lights up the cigarette. So I'm not sure there was an awareness around these kids that, the kids knew that she smoked. She is also showing me she worked at a company where she was an intricate part of it and she very much didn't get promoted and didn't get the kudos that she deserved because she was a female. And she said that she worked in a man's world. She had her hair done regularly, like it was very important to her, the way she looked and the way she presented. And she had her hair done regularly. That was important to her. It was like her one splurge she did for herself. She is showing me that from when her kids had events, like she tried everything. She was that single mom who was doing it. She was at her kids' events. She was just trying to make it all happen for them. the kids never knew just the struggles that she had and how she was always trying to stretch this dollar. She's showing me stretching this dollar. She really tried to hide that from her kids. She said that was not them to worry about. That was her job to worry about it. She was showing me that she didn't have like her jewelry she always liked to be matchy with her jewelry. It wasn't expensive, not expensive jewelry, but she wanted it to be matchy. She liked to have herself together. She's also showing me liking baths. I was like, why are we going to the bathroom? I couldn't imagine what she was about to show me going into the bathroom. It's like, what are we doing? She's getting in the bathtub. She liked to have baths. It was like her thing to decompress. It was her alone time. She's also showing me liking to have stuff to put in the water. That was also her special treat to herself, whether it was Epsom salts. She's actually showing me the water turning a color. So I don't know if y'all were, I wanted to say a bath bomb and she was saying no. So I'm not sure what she would have used in her water to make it that color and soft and silky if it wasn't a bath bomb. But apparently it was something because I tried to say bath bomb and she told me no. Okay, does this lady sound familiar to anyone? Towards the end of her, okay, iPhone, who is that? Okay, iPhone, unmute yourself. Dominique, thank you for giving me your name. Okay, Dominique, can you unmute yourself, honey?
Hi.
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 Okay, so you said this sounds like your mom, but your mom's alive.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like my mom. But yeah, my mom is alive. Although in August she had like a heart attack and was, she almost died. But
Okay, so I have my first question for you, which I feel like the answer is going to be no, but I ask it just to make sure what I feel like is going on is what's going on. Your mom is she's in a coherent state, right? In a, she's not in a coma or anything like that, correct?
no, yeah, she's not in a coma or anything like that.
Okay, very good. The reason I ask, whenever someone steps up and says, this sounds like my mom or my dad or whoever, and it's alive, two situations can happen. I didn't think it was the first one, but I had to ask just to make sure I was reading the energy correctly. I have tapped into people that are on this planet that have dementia or Alzheimer's or in a coma, and I'm reading them just like they're on the other side. It's because when they are advanced state, they spend a lot of time on the other side. There is a lady who is stepping up did you not know your grandmother very well?
No, I did. My mom's mom lived with us.
Okay.
So I knew her really well, and my dad's mom lived in New York, so I knew her, but I didn't get to see her very often.
Okay, so this lady stepping up is referencing your mom because she said that you're not going to know her very well. So I'm going to describe her to you, the
Okay.
lady who's responsible for this information. But she was, for whatever reason, you wouldn't have had an awareness. If I had just described her, she would have gone unclaimed because you would not have an awareness around who she was. Okay, so now the lady who gave me the information about your mom is showing me that towards the end of her life, gosh, she had a hard time getting around. She's showing me using a walker. She also had incontinence problems. Her hair she was completely white. She feels like she had, I wouldn't say Alzheimer's or dementia completely, but she definitely had some memory problems. She is showing me younger. She grew up on a farm or helped on a farm because she is showing me shelling peas. I don't know if anyone here has ever done that, where you have to shell peas and then your finger turns purple and it gets raw. Do you know who this is, Dominique?
I don't know, but it could be my great grandma. I mean, I know I think she was using like a cane. I was really, really young when she passed away, but I do have like very random memories of her coming to our house.
Okay, very good. And is there talk about her growing up on a farm or working a farm, having her little garden?
Um, I'm not sure. I mean, it could be my grandma's, like my grandma, because I think
It
she
feels like your
did.
great grandma. Honestly, it
Okay.
feels like your great
I
grandma.
mean, it was her mother anyway, so it.
Okay. So
Um,
now I will have this frequently, not frequently. I won't say this is an everyday occurrence, but I will say it happens a couple of times a month where the spirit, you're not going to know the spirit. And so if you come to me for a reading, if you come to me for one-on-one reading, I don't say this in a group, but if you come to me for one-on-one reading, the first thing I say is let go of who might step up. Just because you are not connected to someone on earth doesn't mean once they pass, you're not connected. And this is why.
yeah.
Because even though your grandmother, your great grandmother, you didn't know her well, you're in her lineage and she loves you. I know that's hard sometimes for us to comprehend. Why are these people stepping up? It's because she is connected to you. You're in her lineage. Now, she's talking about schooling for you, Dominique. Did you not finish school?
Well, first, like when I left high school, I was going to like a community college, but then I kind of like I don't know, I stopped going, and then like a couple years, or actually like 2 years ago, I had started culinary school, and then I finished culinary school.
Okay, so you did finish culinary school.
Yeah.
She's telling me you need to keep going. So if you have if you are passionate about what you're doing, she's just making me feel like for you to accomplish what you really want to accomplish, you need to finish, you need to go back to school.
Okay.
Now, if that's not something that's in your mind, if it's not to the forefront, you're like, oh yeah, I want to go back to school. I'm dying to do that. No one ever says that, just so we're clear. It's so fun. Finishing school is fun. That piece of paper at the end is fun. I tell you to let spirit drop synchronicities into you. So now I've mentioned it to you. Now all of a sudden you might see advertisements for a course of study that you've been thinking about. You might have other people mention it to you.
Yeah, I had actually like I think it was like a couple weeks ago. Um like whenever when I was younger and got out of high school, I was really into like makeup and cosmetology stuff, and I was like, "Oh man, like I should have done that." But I was just told, you can't make money off of that and stuff, so I never went through with it, but that was conversation like a couple weeks ago.
We won't talk about how much Christy pays to get her hair done. I don't know who said you
It's a
can't make
lot these days.
I don't know who said you can't make money at that, but yeah. Everyone that has ever done my hair has done quite well for themselves. Now, are you going to get rich? No, but you're not going to get rich doing most of the things. There's a common misconception that you're going to get rich doing this or doing that. You want to you want to go to a career that you're going to love and be able to support yourself.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, your great grandmother is mentioning your mom. Now, you said your mom had had a heart attack,
Yeah.
right? And okay, she is saying that your mom needs to I know. I'm just going to tell you, and I don't think you're going to be able to talk your mom into doing it, but I'm just telling you, she needs to switch doctors.
Okay, yeah. My mom is like the last 2 days she's been talking to me like about really personal things, how she's been feeling after the heart attack.
Yeah.
Um, and I know she's going through a lot, and she's been going back and forth with different medications that haven't been working and have been affecting her negatively, and I know she's just like at her wit's end with it all.
Well, I feel that. Um, and that must be why your grandmother is saying that, because what I felt was not that her doctor doesn't want her healed. It's much like I had a huge discussion with my doctor, and my husband said, it's like they're not treating the patient. Like they were just treating my disease instead of treating the patient. And so that's what it feels like with your mom, is that they're like, here, take this. This should work. Well, you really have to follow this patient of, is this the right, medicine for the patient? So I'm really hearing that your mom needs to go to a different doctor, one who will listen to her.
Yeah, because she actually said exactly that to me today. She was like, I feel like they're not listening to me. She's like, I feel like I know what's going on, and no
Mhm.
one's listening to what I'm saying, and they're just like going
Very
around.
good. So when a spirit does that, when a spirit gives me words where you said, "Oh, my mom just said that today," they're doing a couple of things. One thing, they're proving that they're around you because they gave me the exact words that your mom said. And also validating your mom. Like your mom is right. They are not listening to her. Your great grandmother is validating what she says, and she does need to go to a different doctor. Sometimes this can be a blessing in disguise because if they were listening to her, your mom wouldn't be going, she wouldn't be looking for a different doctor, but she does need to go to someone who's more specialized.
Yeah, because she was telling me that she felt like her nervous system was being like attacked, and they were fine. They were like, no, that's not it. My mom's like, I'm telling you, like this is really like what I feel, and they just ignore her, you know.
You know what? The last time one of the doctors argued with me over that, and I said, my exact words were, I've had this body for 55 years. I'm very familiar with it. I
Yeah.
understand how it works. I also understand when it's working inappropriately. And it didn't start working inappropriately until I started taking that medicine. So there is a definite energy thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell your mom to go to another
I
doctor.
will definitely tell her that.
All right. Of course, of course. All right. I want to thank everyone who has joined me tonight. Thank y'all for being here. I so appreciate that. Now let's say, I'm sorry, I was reading the chat last month. We talked about the VAA that was, found out past January. Okay, so Brittany is saying that I read her dad on TikTok last month. We talked about his VA aide that was giving him a sleeping pill unknowingly. Found out yesterday that aide passed January from kidney failure. She was only 38. And she hadn't thought about it. Just interesting because she hadn't thought about it until she was brought up in the reading. That happens so much. Like those, there's no coincidences. Like I don't remember this reading, and I don't even know. I mean, good on her dad, for Brittany's dad to be able to come from spirit world and somehow reference an aide that was helping him when he was sick, apparently. I mean, what are the odds? I don't know how her dad got me that information, but I have to say kudos to that spirit. And then all of a sudden, Brittany found out that that person passed away. That's not a coincidence. I love that. I don't love that the person passed away, not that, but I love how spirit will bring the energies together and you can just watch the flow of them. All right, I want to thank everyone for joining me. I think this is the last. I will have another. I put out, pay attention. I do put out a schedule for my lives. If you are a part of the Divine Collective, we do have this coming up Monday, a group reading within that. It is within the Divine Collective. So make sure you put that on your calendar. I was read by Christy when I was pregnant. Just a small hiccup during labor, and I would have a chunky baby. Oh, so I'm sorry you had a hiccup during labor. So someone says baby love, that I read them a couple of years ago when she was pregnant, and I said there would be a small hiccup during labor, but I would have a chunky baby. She was right. I'm sorry about the small hiccup, but a chunky baby. I love fat babies, like the fat cheeks. Oh, you don't mind me if you give me a baby. I'll just let me just sniff and kiss your baby's head. And if there's little cheeks, I gotta kiss their cheeks. And then I like to give them back and go home and sleep all night. That's my favorite. Oh, okay, so mine would come back okay. And you said they'd have to dig for more. Oh yes, that does feel right. That does feel right. I don't remember that, but someone said something about that ultrasound on their liver. I said there'd be a little bit more, and they said it's fatty liver. That does feel right. All right. Thank you, everyone.